As Pope? I'd like to be Pope. That would be my #1 choice.
Pope Banana Cream Pious. Pope Eggs Benedict. Pope John Pull My Finger. He's at the funeral. He saw all the gold at the Vatican. He thought, I can live here. This feels right to me.
What happens when the president tries to turn himself into the Pope, gets ignored at a major funeral, and then roasted by comedians across America? From Trump's viral Pope photo and awkward fashion choices to Jimmy Kimmel and SNL calling out his wild claims and family drama, this week has been a full-blown disaster for him.
One weekend, he upset the two most religious groups of people on the planet, Catholics and Star Wars fans.
But is this just another media frenzy, or has Trump's attempt to stay relevant finally backfired in the most embarrassing way? Well, let's break it down. It all started when Trump shared an AI-generated photo of himself dressed as the Pope. Yes, he actually posted it on his social media, triggering an instant wave of backlash. The timing couldn't have been worse. It came just days after the real Pope's passing.
All right, we're going to bring you some breaking news just coming into us now here in Al Jazeera that Pope Francis, the first Latin American leader of the Roman Catholic Church, has died.
Pope Francis has died.
The Vatican announced that the Pope died at 7:35 this morning, less than 24 hours after he was last seen in public blessing the Easter crown.
Critics quickly called it disrespectful, especially to Catholics around the world. This wasn't the first time Trump's actions had sparked religious controversy. During his presidency, he once held up a Bible in front of a church for a photo opportunity, drawing backlash from both religious leaders and the public. For many, the AI Pope image felt like a repeat of the same behavior, using sacred symbols to make a political or personal statement. And well, Jimmy Kimmel was among the first to call him out, joking about the absurdity of the post and even giving him new Pope names.
On Friday, MAGA Teresa posted this photo of himself as the new Pope. Pope Banana Cream Pious. Pope Eggs Benedict. Pope John Pull My Finger.
The humor was sharp, but the criticism was serious. Trump's decision to post such an image while global religious communities were still mourning struck many as tone deaf. Even Saturday Night Live joined in. During their weekend update, they pointed out how strange it was for someone to post a photo of themselves wearing the outfit of a man who had just died. They also added their own joke. If Trump wanted to be the Pope so badly, maybe he should reconsider his political alliances.
Trump was at the Pope's funeral. That means he walked past an open casket and was like, oh, we should do a Who Wore It Best.
The internet exploded with reactions. Some found it funny, others saw it as another example of Trump turning serious moments into opportunities for self-promotion. Either way, the AI Pope meme quickly became one of the most talked about and criticized posts of his entire political career. After the Pope meme backlash, things only got worse. But before we continue, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. Now moving on. When Trump arrived at Pope Francis's funeral in Rome, he made headlines again, this time for his choice of clothing. While the Vatican's dress code clearly called for a dark suit, Trump showed up wearing a blue suit. He stood out immediately, and not in a good way. Everyone else, from world leaders to diplomats, followed the dress code. Trump was the only one who didn't. Jimmy Kimmel quickly picked up on this. He reminded viewers how Fox News once lost their minds when President Obama wore a tan suit to a press briefing. Yet here was Trump at a formal Vatican event in the brightest suit in the room. Kimmel didn't hold back on the irony.
You know, Fox News, you may remember, had a collective aneurysm when President Obama wore a tan suit to a press briefing. Man, oh man, if Obama wore in a blue suit to the Pope's funeral, Sean Hannity's head would explode inside Trump's ass.
The media also noted how other leaders at the funeral, like France's Emmanuel Macron and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, followed the protocol. Macron even refused to shake Trump's hand during the event. Trump's blue suit, meant to make him stand out, ended up highlighting how out of step he was with the moment and the other world leaders around him. Observers also noted that Trump's decision to break dress protocol wasn't just a fashion slip. It reflected a larger pattern where he often dismisses established norms and traditions, even at solemn events. This habit has drawn criticism from diplomats and former officials who argue that such actions weaken the respect and seriousness typically expected from world leaders. But his fashion choice wasn't the only problem at the funeral. The reactions he and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky received from the crowd told an even bigger story. When Trump entered, there was no applause. The audience barely even acknowledged him. Some turned away. It was a quiet, cold moment that spoke volumes. Then Zelensky arrived. As soon as he was shown on the big screens, the crowd stood up and applauded. The difference couldn't have been clearer. Even CNN's Anderson Cooper pointed it out during the broadcast.
Now they're applauding President Zelensky when he appeared on some of the jumbotrons.
When Trump walked in, no one reacted. No applause, no excitement, just silence.
Now, contrast that to when Donald Trump arrived on scene at the funeral and nobody gave a crap. People looked the other way.
Jimmy Kimmel also picked up on this moment later, using it to show how Trump's global image had taken a major hit. A leader once known for commanding attention was now struggling to get even basic recognition at one of the world's biggest public gatherings. This wasn't just about clothes or even applause. It was about influence, respect, and how much things have changed. As Trump's week continued to spiral, Jimmy Kimmel delivered one of his sharpest roasts yet. He started by mocking Trump's latest trade idea, putting a 100% tariff on foreign movies. Trump claimed that Hollywood was under threat and that bringing back American-made movies was a matter of national security. Kimmel quickly pointed out where this idea probably came from. Then Kimmel turned to Trump's interviews and how he answers even the most basic questions with confusion or blame shifting. When asked if everyone deserves due process, Trump's reply was far from presidential.
Everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me.
Kimmel didn't stop there. He also highlighted one of Trump's strangest speeches, where Trump started talking about children's toys during a discussion about the economy. Trump said kids don't need so many dolls. Kimmel used this to underline how disconnected Trump seemed from real issues.
$3 or $4. They don't need to have $30. They can have 3. You don't need to have, as I said, $35. You can have 2, 3, 4.
Right, think of them like wives. 2, 3, 4.
The jokes kept landing because the contradictions were too obvious. Trump was discussing global trade, then suddenly switched to dolls, as if both topics were equally urgent. Kimmel pointed out how Trump often tries to shift attention from serious topics by making unusual statements that leave people scratching their heads. By the end of the segment, it was clear. From tariffs to toys, Trump's interviews were turning into comedy gold for late-night hosts. And it wasn't just late-night comedians weighing in. Political analysts noted that these interviews and public statements were making it harder for Trump to be taken seriously on the global stage. Even some former allies expressed concern that these off-topic rants and exaggerated claims were damaging his credibility at a time when he seemed eager to rebuild his political influence. But now, to you, after everything, trying to become the Pope, getting ignored by world leaders, and turning serious politics into late-night comedy, has Trump crossed the line from controversial figure to full-on public punchline? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and before you leave, check out our other video. You'll love it.